IC10 and IC90 values for your drug acid data in Graphpad Prism 6. In a previous tutorial, I shared with you how to determine the IC50 value by plotting a sigmoid curve through your data. If you don't already know how to do this, I suggest that you pause this video, go watch my other tutorial, and then you can come and continue this video. I have included the link to this video in the description, so feel free to watch the other tutorial. Now, apart from IC50 value, which we normally use to determine the effectiveness of a drug, you can also use the IC10 and IC90. I've had several of my friends come to me and ask me, how do you determine the IC10 and IC90 values in Graphpad Prism? So today decided to make a tutorial on just that, just to share with you a simple method or trick for doing this in Graphpad Prism. So before I continue, I'd like to let you know that this method only works when you've normalized your Y values. So which means that your Y values have been normalized to a percentage scale. You require this for this method to work. So I already have my data. I have log transformed X values and then normalize my Y values, and then I went ahead to fit the sigmoid curve, which gave me these results. Now Graphpad Prism by default displays the IC50 value, but in this tutorial I want to teach you how to include IC10 and IC90 values in the results section here. So first of all, you can go ahead to select your data, which has log transform X values and normalize Y values, hit analyze, and then you want to choose nonlinear regression. Okay, I'll choose this option, and then we'll go and select the very option we used for the analysis the first time, which is this one, log inhibitor versus normalized response. Now you want to double click that, and this gives you the formula behind the analysis. Now what we want to do is we want to clone this equation, because we are going to modify this very equation. So you hit clone, and this gives you a copy of the equation. Now we want to rename this so we can easily find it in the analysis panel. So for simplicity, I'll name it IC50, IC10, IC90, and I indicate that this is for an inhibitor drug. And then you go to the transforms to report tab. Now as you can see, you have something for IC50. This is what allows Graphpad Prism to return the IC50 value. It does this by finding the anti-log of the log IC50. So similarly, we're going to do a very similar thing. What we are going to do is ask Graphpad Prism to determine the log IC10 and log IC90, and then we are going to find the anti-log of those two values to give us the IC10 and IC90 values. So we are going to start with IC10. So just to explain IC10 and IC90, the log IC10 value is simply the corresponding value of X when Y equals 90. This is because it is the concentration of the drug required to clear just 10% of your parasite or cell line you're working with. Similarly, the log IC90 is the corresponding X value when Y is 10%. Again, this is the concentration of the drug required to clear 90% of your cell line or parasites, leaving behind 10%. So once we found our log IC10 and log IC90, we can transform them to IC10 and IC90 by finding the antilog of these two values. So this is exactly what we are going to do in Graphpad Prism. So back to Graphpad Prism, we're gonna, for IC10, we're gonna ask Graphpad Prism to return the value of x when y equals 90. And this is how you tell Graphpad Prism to do that. So capital X, square bracket, 90, close bracket. Now, as I mentioned earlier, the corresponding x value is the log IC10, simply because our x-axis is in the log scale. So we want to transform that to our actual IC10 by finding the antilog of this value. So this is how we do it, by typing something like this, 10 raised to the power that. So this is going to give you as the antilog of the log IC10, which is our IC10. Okay, so we're going to do similar thing for IC90. So IC90, and this is going to be 10 to the power value of x when y is 10. So close bracket. Okay, so once we've done that, we have already named our new equation, so we can say okay. So this has been added to the analysis panel under user defined equation. So whenever we come to analysis, we are going to find it under user defined equations. So we can cancel for now, and now we want to try it on our data. So we can go to our normalized data and hit analyze and look for nonlinear regression. Okay, and we want to click this option, and we are going to look for our new equation under user defined equations and select that and hit OK. So as you can see, it returns the IC50, the IC10, and the IC90 values. So this is all for today.